What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of The Chi. This is season 7, episode 11, and the episode is titled Ready or Not. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So we start this episode off with Bakari. He is swearing up and down that it was Zay that took Rob out, because y'all know he talking to Alicia. Now, Alicia, she's like, why do you think that? And he's like, because that's what Nuck told him. So at this point, she's like, okay, so your loyalty lies with Nuck. And he's like, nah, like, I'm only loyal to myself. And I'm like, Bakari, you're not loyal to yourself. But if you want to claim that right now so that way she don't kill you and put you in her backyard, I get it. So moving on, we do see Reg. He ends up telling Hannibal that if he would have robbed that jewelry store, he would be in jail right now. And he feels like there's a snake around the crew. So he wants Hannibal to call everybody because he feel like somebody set him up. And I'm like, yeah, somebody set you up. The person who you talking to, but whatever. We jump over to Toussaint and she's talking to Nuck. She's pissed off. And y'all, I honestly don't feel bad for her because she's so busy gunning for Reg. I'm like, do you think you're going to kill two birds with one stone? Is that what you're trying to do? Because you have a killer right now in your face. I can't take you seriously right now. And no offense, but the murder of Rob is more relevant than whatever Reg got going on. Like, honestly, I'm kind of disappointed, y'all, because I thought with Toussaint coming back, we were going to get more police involvement. It was going to be a whole thing, but it's giving lackluster. But I digress. So we move on and we see Bakari having a conversation with Lene. I said, oh, girl, you let him come to the house? Because every time you talk to him, you are sick of him. Nonetheless, they start arguing because she feels like he's always choosing the streets over her. And he's like, there's just certain things that I cannot tell you, which is very true. Lene, you do not want to know the information that Bakari knows at this point. I promise you that you don't. But because she's so adamant about this, he ends up telling her that, number one, she can't say anything. Number two, Nuck is the one who killed Rob. And the first thing she said was, and you still took that lady money? Okay, Lene, I'm with you. I'm with you when you're right. That was my question as well. Bakari, you were playing such a dangerous game. You should have never taken Alicia's money. Ever. Okay? Like, in the grand scheme of things, y'all, Bakari is the one who should have left the show. Follow me here. Bakari is the one who wanted a new life. He wanted to write a book. He wanted to do all these things, right? We ain't heard no mention of that book no more. That's the first thing. Secondly, we don't even see no scenes with him and the professor no more. What happened with that? But now we trying to go back to him being in all this street stuff. Y'all, Bakari could have just packed up and moved. Maybe he needed a new life in LA. Not trying to be rude. I like the character, but yeah, this is so ridiculous. Nonetheless, basically he's telling her that he became Nuck's number 2 that night because he told him to get in the passenger seat. And he's like, I feel like I got promoted. Promoted to what though? Because right now you ain't got no money. Like, you couldn't even afford a laptop. You're sleeping on Nuck's couch. What are you number 2 doing? Because you ain't getting no money. So I'm not understanding what you so proud of. So at this point, she feels like, okay, so at some point, are you going to tell Alicia? Of course he's not. And then she says, who's going to tell Tiff? And he said, not you. And I'm just like, that's even crazier because Bakari was at the baby shower. Bakari saw Nuck dragging in baby gifts and all the things. Like, Bakari, you cold. You just as cold-blooded as Nuck is because you letting this man play in this pregnant lady face. Now, I will say that she gave him the best piece of advice, which was, you need to leave Nuck alone and focus on yourself at this point. And I completely agree with her. Now, he does have her promise that she will not say anything. Moving on, y'all. We see Damien and Zuri. Y'all, they are going to town. They are smashing. And y'all, I get that it was a callback. I get it. But for me, it just didn't work. Because Keisha comes knocking on the door asking him, why is the door locked? And I'm like, wait, why are you asking why is the door locked? Is this y'all room? Because I'm like, wait, that bed look real big, like a California king size bed. I know that ain't in one of the guest rooms. Y'all shouldn't even have guest rooms because y'all got all these kids. Damien, not you bringing that girl over to your brother house and smashing in his bed. That's crazy work. Okay? So then he ends up telling Zuri to get under the bed. I said, first of all, y'all too old for this. Y'all are way, way, way too old for this. But she gets under the bed. Keisha, she ends up finally getting let in. And she's like, you were supposed to pick up Ronnie. He was the last kid there. I'm sorry. Ain't no way I would have offered Zuri breakfast. I get that it was a callback, y'all. I get it. But let's be so for real. Damien would have been out of my house. Because you mean to tell me that you left my child at daycare? Who knows how long it actually took Keisha to go get him? Because if I'm not mistaken, they usually wait, like 30 to 45 minutes overtime for parents to come pick up their kids before they start to call them. So I'm pretty sure they had to call Keisha and she had to dash over from wherever she was at to go pick up Ronnie. Oh, baby, you'll be out my house because you chose Zuri over picking up my child and you live here for free? Ain't no way. Zuri wouldn't be getting no food from me. Like, y'all, I'm sorry. That scene, it worked for Emmett and Keisha because they were, 18, 19 years old? Actually, no, maybe 18, 17 years old because Keisha was still in high school. But that worked then. This type of scene don't work with these grown people because Damien and Zuri are got to be in like mid-20s at this point. What are we doing? Nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and move on. So, Charles, he ends up telling Zeke that he wants to be the co-pastor. Honestly, I don't hate this idea because we actually saw that the people, they liked the way Charles preached when he did preach on that one episode. But also at the same time, I think I like my storyline idea a little bit better because I would have rather that Zeke had to step down and Charles took his place. And then they would have been competing churches, but whatever. Basically, Zeke ends up confronting Charles about his dating life. We do not care. We do not care if that man sleeps around with every woman at the church. I promise you that we don't. Talking about because you need to go find a wife. Sir, your situation ain't no better just because you barely creeping back around with your ex-wife. What are you talking about? Moving on. Alright, so then we see Keisha and Emmett. They're trying to set some ground rules with Damien. Y'all, what's crazy to me is that Emmett, he's like, yeah, because, you can't be bringing random women into our bedroom. Sir, he shouldn't be bringing anybody into your bedroom. What are we talking about? Like, he shouldn't even be in y'all bedroom. Like, that whole situation was completely out of line and it should never happen again. So, also, Keisha's like, if you say that you're going to pick up one of the kids, then you better do it. And there's absolutely going to be no gambling. Baby, when I tell you Damien is on thin ice at this point. Because the fact that he's still not getting it. Like, something ain't right upstairs. I don't know what it is, but something's not calculating. Moving on. Okay, so we see the sister circle, right? And basically it is Jada, Tracy, Lene. Why is Lene here? Lene ain't never been to a sister circle. What is going on? She's there. Who else is there? Oh, Tiff and Keisha. And basically they're trying to convince Jada to get a second opinion, see if there's any other routes that she could take with this cancer. But she's like, no, I've already accepted it. It is what it is. She just wants everybody to take care of Emmett, make sure everybody's good, and continue on with life. Moving on. Why do we have another counseling session with Jamal and Dom? I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I feel like this has to be a situation where Lala and Vic Mensa are very busy. Like, they have very busy schedules. So they must have told them, like, hey, we can just give y'all some counseling sessions to say that y'all can fulfill y'all contract, because I'm not understanding. Like, why do we keep seeing them having these stupid counseling sessions? And really, the counselor ain't even good, if we want to be honest. Because, okay, we're going to get into it. So, basically, they decided that they're not going to have kids. Okay, fine. But then they also say that they don't agree on a lot of stuff. That's because y'all only were dating for how long? A couple of months? Be so for real about yourselves. It's going to be a whole lot of things that y'all don't agree on. So she says that she doesn't want to share bank accounts, but he feels like they need to start moving as one, right? So then she's like, but I don't want to share my finances. Girl, finances, let's not act like you making all types of like crazy money. You work at Smokies. You ain't got money like that. Like, what are we talking about? It really wouldn't matter. I'm pretty sure you make more than Jamal because you're the cook and he's just what? He does pickup orders. Like, he's the driver. He's practically Uber for Smokies. So then she's basically trying to say how she's her own woman. And he feels like as a man, he needs to lead the household. The therapist then asks, okay, so how did we get to this point? Y'all, why did he say, oh, she was using a toy and I feel like why would she be doing that when I'm right here? And Dom is like, it's not all about you. And I agree. I absolutely agree with her. Like, him catching an attitude over this is kind of stupid. But also, here's my thing. Them having a shared bank account is not the same as having solo time. Because she was like, I need my solo time. Y'all, I'm sorry, but none of this correlated. None of this conversation makes sense to me. Like, I can understand if Dom said, I need my solo time because we work together, we live together, we do everything together. I need some personal space. That I can understand. But how do we jump from a toy to bank accounts to no kids? Like, it's all over the place. Please, y'all, if we're going to write them having a therapy session, make it make sense. Let these people stay on topic. Moving on. Y'all, so now we got to move on to the round table that Reg has set up because he feels like somebody tried to set him up, right? Now, I'm looking around at this table and I'm like, no, wait a damn minute. You mean to tell me those two dudes robbed a jewelry store, broke all types of glass and all the things at the jewelry store, and they didn't get arrested? They didn't go to jail? That makes absolutely no sense. Regardless of them looking for Reg, they still committed a crime. So, here's the thing. He's questioning everybody trying to see who did it. First, he ends up questioning Keith. Keith was like, no, I was hanging out with Rashad. And he's like, oh, you was hanging out with my brother homeboy. Scoot back, Reg. That man ain't worried about you. Then, moving on, he goes over there to Kyla. Oh, I guess her name is Angie. He goes over there to Angie. I feel like this is the first time we've even heard her name this episode. But he go over there to her, and it gets to the point where he puts a gun in her face. And I'm like, Hannibal, you didn't do enough. You did not do enough for that man to put a gun in your wife's face. Okay? So, at that point, he ends up kicking everybody out because they're not telling him what he wants to hear. So, the only people that was left was Keith and Candace. Keith ends up walking out as well, and Candace is about to leave because she about to go to work. Y'all, I did not think that Candace had a job. I really did not think so. Because the way she just laid up in his house every day, all day, with Reg, girl, is giving you ain't got no job. But whatever. Y'all, this whole time as I'm watching her, I'm just like, Zaria Peterson, like, Robert did not raise you to let all these crazy men in your house like this. Like, your crazy cousin Keith, now we got Reg pulling guns out and all of this. Girl, he did not raise you like this, Zaria. But then I had to remember, she actually get it honest from her daddy. Because y'all remember when Robert decided to let TK live with them on the parenthood? Yeah, picking up a stray. So now I get it. She was raised like this. she picking up a stray, which is Reg. And now Reg, he's like, you should go ahead and quit your job. And she like, yeah, I may hate my job, but why would I quit it? And he's like, so that way you can come work for me. Doing what? You don't have this man be talking like he really running an operation. You would think that he was Nuck instead of Nuck being Nuck, having the whole operation. So basically, he wants her to be the lookout, right? Because he trying to go hit up a house. And she's like, no, I ain't trying to go rob no house with you. Like, that's not the type of time I'm on. And he's like, well, because I trust you. I don't trust anybody else. I need somebody to be my lookout. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, when I thought Reg was going to come back and really stir something up, it wasn't in this way. Or am I crazy? I don't think I'm crazy. Also, the only thing I keep thinking is, where is Dante? You mean to tell me that Dante just gave Candace over to Reg? That makes no sense to me. Because she was like his number one bottom bitch girl. So, this makes absolutely no sense, but whatever. We're going to go ahead and move on. Oh, also, Toussaint is over there still sitting in her car taking pictures of Candace go to work. Like, Toussaint, get a hobby. Moving on from there, we actually see Darnell. He's talking to Riley about his feelings, and she suggested that they have a living funeral for Jada, so that way she can see how much people love her before she passes away. Now, I actually do enjoy this idea. I love it. I think that more people should embrace that, especially if you know that at some point your loved one is going to pass away, because funerals are depressing. Funerals are very sad, and you have people hopping on the mic saying how great this person was to them, yet they never told them that in person. You know what I mean? You want to tell all these stories about this person, but they never got to hear it. So I do like that idea of a living funeral. So Darnell does go home that day, and he tells Jada about it. And, she agrees to the idea. She's like, okay, yeah, we can do that. I'm comfortable with it. Y'all, we jump on over to Zeke and his ex-wife. Baby, when I tell you we do not care, we do not care. He tells her that Charles is going to be the co-pastor and how he wants to spend more time with his family. Okay, kudos for you. Moving on. We see Angie and Hannibal. They go to church. Y'all, when I tell you, I just be feeling like they put the most random people as churchgoers on this show. Like, y'all just be sending random characters to church out the blue. But it's okay. Whatever. So they at the church. Come to find out, Angie and Charles, they actually grew up together. They went to the same church when they were kids. And he dated her sister. Y'all, we have yet to find out who her sister is. So I'm going to assume that at some point we are going to meet her. Because he says that he felt like she was the one that got away. And her sister is supposedly getting her life together. I just want to know who she is at this point. That's it. That's all. Moving on, Darnell, he ends up telling Emmett, like, yo, we gonna do this living funeral. I want you to be involved. I want you to help out. And I can't lie, I did kind of laugh when Emmett was like, well, where you get this idea from? Because he already knew Darnell did not come up with this on his own. So Darnell tells him about how, Riley is the one who told him. And he's like, dang, you already moving on to the next woman? And he like, shut up. No, he ain't moving on to the next woman. But Riley has been very supportive to Darnell because she's already going through this experience. Now, since this show has been renewed for another season, even though they are operating like this is the last season, do y'all think that they're going to try to make Riley and Darnell be a thing next season? Because I feel like I can see that be a thing. But let's go ahead and move on. So after that, we jump on over to Nuck and Bakari. Bakari feels like somebody is going to kill him, and that somebody is Alicia. Nuck is like, why do you feel that way? And Bakari has to tell him, because I threw up in front of that lady's house, remember? Stop acting like you wasn't there. And Nuck tries to diss him and be like, yeah, you're not even worthy to be a number two. You acted like he wanted to be your number two. And also, we've yet to see the benefits of Bakari being the number two position. So, again, y'all, I feel like Bakari needs to go ahead and take a flight out to LA and go be with Maisha and Kevin at this point. Y'all, I have never watched a show where 85% of the cast need to leave the city. Like, this is crazy. But moving on. All right, so now let's move on to this weird ass scene that we got between Zeke and Papa. So they talking about the church or whatever. And what's bothering me is that Papa has been on bullshit since he met this man. Can we have an honest conversation? Y'all, what happened to Papa's character? Like, the way that he is so consumed with Pastor Zeke and this church is crazy to me, because he wasn't even in his daddy church like this. Okay? But he follows everything Pastor Zeke says, like, to the point where you knew that your daddy didn't even like this man and his preaching style, because he knew that Zeke was all about money. But you gonna have this man in your daddy church? Like, I can't. So Papa invites him to come on Papa's pulpit so that way he could express himself, right? Y'all, at one point in the conversation, why does he accidentally call that man dad? And I'm like, listen, you've been looking for a new daddy since you met him. You've been looking for him to be your dad since you got involved with his church, because he was nothing like your father. Stan Lee. Yeah, I'm going to call you Stanley Jr. You got some things that you actually need to go work out. Now, after that, y'all, we actually see Toussaint, and she tells Alicia that she needs Alicia to go track down Candace, right? Because I guess one way to get to Reg is through his girl. Y'all, I gotta be honest. As much as I thought these two was gonna be like the dynamic duo, it ain't giving that. So now Alicia is trying to get Candace in her pocket, and baby, it wasn't hard. Okay? We slide her over to Tiff and Nook, and she's showing off her growth space, and now he wants to get involved and be like, oh yeah, because, you know, the mob, they can help out. Whoa, buddy. What are you talking about? First of all, Tiff, I'm not even understanding how you're coming into the growth space. Aren't you pregnant? Are pregnant women supposed to be around all this marijuana? Are they? I'm a little confused. That's the first thing. Secondly, Tiff, why would you want your business to be tied to some illegal activity? Girl, are you mentally okay? Because I don't think you are. And then he gonna have the audacity to say, well, you know, if I make things right with Alicia, then maybe we could partner up. And she's like, yeah, we could do that. Tiffany, I don't understand you. Also, what's bothering me is that now you want illegal money? For what? Why? Aren't you already making enough money selling out of the cigar lounge? Girl, where the fuck EJ at? How about that? Where's EJ? Because you got time to play in all these niggas' faces, but you have no time for your child. Y'all, I'm sorry, but the way they have written Tiffany's character, I can't stand her. I cannot stand her. And please know, I've had ups and downs with Tiffany before. But once she got with Rob, I feel like she finally started making more sense. And now she went back to being a dummy. But we're going to go ahead and move on, because we see Bakari, Jake, and Papa. They meeting up with the professor. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this was also a scene from Boys in the Hood that they recreated. Y'all, first of all, you have these three young men and all these old niggas behind them. What was that all about? Bakari has to tell the professor that, hey, Alicia pulled my scholarship. And he's like, oh, well, you know, I can go talk to her. Nah, nigga, that ain't gonna help the situation. Because Bakari never deserved the fucking scholarship in the first damn place. Okay? So, he is going on and on about how there needs to be a space for these young guys and all of this stuff. Sir, I really don't give a damn. I don't care about you fighting to have black boys in your classroom. I just don't care. Like, y'all, I'm sorry, but this whole scene was a waste of fucking time. And I love me some Kadeem Hardison, but this ain't it. Like, what makes this scene be any different than their little men's group that they got? Not a damn thing. Moving on. Nuck, he ends up taking Tiff back to his place. This scene was hella random. And again, where is EJ? Moving on. We see Zeke, and he's on Papa's pulpit, and he is going on about his life and how he has all these failed marriages. Basically, he says that, you know, the first marriage, he was focused on the church, so he neglected his wife. Then he talks about in the second marriage how he was basically messing around with his secretary, and his wife was doing her own thing on the side. But I'm like, oh, you must really like Kenya Mama, because you surely did not bring up the fact that she cheated on your ass. But I digress. So I just feel like this whole thing was to try to humanize the pastor and make it seem like, yes, he has faults as well. But y'all, let's be honest, we do not care. Because then that man was going on about how he had so much love for Kenya Mama. I guess. Moving on. Y'all, we see Jacob Bakari, my bad. And now we got this whole recreation of another Boys in the Hood scene. Y'all, this show loves to do this, but I'm not interested. I really don't care. I don't know what is happening with me in this show, but it's like y'all can recreate all the scenes that y'all want to, but they still ain't pushing the story forward, and most of them ain't even making no damn sense. Like, okay, Bakari had a dream because he was watching Boys in the Hood that he was gonna get shot. Yeah, okay. Moving on. Now we jumping over to Alicia. She goes to see Candace at her job. And I guess Candace, she just working like some little like phone store or whatever. And baby, one thing about Alicia, okay? She said a line that I said, okay, I'm with you. She told her who you choose to be with determines how far you go in life. And baby, that is so true. That is a very true statement. So then she ends up asking her, oh, do you have a man? And she's like, yeah, I do, but he in the streets. Girl, why are you telling this lady this? You do not know her. Also, where the fuck is Dante? Where the fuck is Dante? I'm sorry. This girl was his bottom bitch. She was his number one. There's no way you're going to tell me that Dante just gave her up to motherfucking Reg. And I'm not saying that he owned her, but can we be so fucking for real? Ain't no way Candace would have left Dante for Reg like this. But you know what? Whatever. We just gonna leave it alone. So now they have exchanged contact information, and Alicia is now going by the name Terry. Okay? So she could be this girl mentor. Moving on. Kenya and Lene, they have a little chit chat at Smokey's about Papa's podcast and how Kenya feels like it's very weird to have a parent that's a pastor. This conversation is cut short. I will say it is good to finally see Lene talk to somebody on the show because y'all got rid of all of her fucking friends. Moving on. Y'all, why do we see Shad and he took that fucking lady on a date to Smokey's? I can't even remember her name right now, like her character name, but I'm sorry, you cannot bring me to this motherfucking place on a first date. I'm so sick of seeing Smokey's. We have got to stop acting like that is the only place in fucking Chicago. Like, I get it. It's a main staple on this show, but be so fucking for real. So, he basically says that, yeah, this is his favorite spot, right? And she tells him, oh, you know, this says a lot about you. And she's like, yeah, it just says that you're old school and how you like the simpler things. Simpler things? Yes. Old school? Old school. Y'all, we gotta stop. That nigga ain't old school. That nigga broke. Okay? I don't understand why we keep doing this. So then, he opens up about being tired of being the broke guy. I say, yeah, because that's what the fuck you are. He's tired of being a broke guy who just got out of prison and struggling financially. Nigga, you've been out of jail for a couple of years. You ain't just got out of nothing. Keith just got out of jail. You ain't just got out of no fucking jail. You've been out for some time, baby. Like, I'm not even understanding. So, also, y'all, it just really made me think. Remember when Shad wanted to do, like, this, like, vintage store where he wanted to, like, highlight all of the things from, like, the 2000s and all that shit? I'm not understanding why we never took that approach. Because this girl's telling him how, well, you know, I make candles because that's what I love. Can we revisit that? Because let's be so for real. The young people are collecting Y2K things. They're eating it up. They're literally collecting vinyls and old CDs. So the idea would have actually worked. But for some reason, we won't give Shad anything to fucking do. Like, I don't understand. So, Then we see that they're all getting ready for Jada's celebration of life. Now, I did appreciate seeing, oh boy, I can't even remember his name, but y'all know, the guy who actually was dating Jada before she got back with Darnell. And actually, I think he's the guy who discovered the lump in her breast, remember? So that she go get checked out to see that she had breast cancer. So I was glad to see that he was there. I kind of wish he would have got on the mic or something, but that's not what we got. So then we jump back over to King and Mama confronting Zeke about what he said on that podcast. Now, she's so pissed off by what he said. She's like, I'm just a private person. Girl, you mad when he could have mentioned how you cheated on his ass. Who the fuck cares? We slide on over to Emmett, y'all. He shows up to the event. He late. He probably had to get his emotions together before he showed up. And you can tell that he's taking it hard. So Darnell, he gets up there. He thanks everybody for coming out to the celebration. And he tells everybody to come up there and share their Jada stories, right? Y'all, I'm pissed off because you mean to tell me that y'all couldn't have brought Nina back so that way she could talk about Jada? Y'all couldn't have brought Nina ex-wife, I can't remember her name, back onto the show just for this moment? Like, I'm sorry, y'all. It pissed me off. Because I really feel like if y'all was going to do this whole thing for Jada, like, y'all got people up there talking who never talked to Jada. Like, why the fuck is Jake up there? Why is Pop up in the room? Can we have an honest conversation? Who is these young niggas? Like, they were not kicking it with Jada, okay? But nonetheless, I'm over here looking around. And I said, now, hold up. It's definitely somebody missing. Where the fuck is Damien at? Because that lady just gave that boy some money. And that's his stepmama. Like, I'm pretty sure he could have had some stories to tell her. You know what I'm saying? But, y'all, this is the part that broke me. Emmett got up there, y'all, and he breaks down within the first few words. Okay? And I mean, balling. Darnell has to step in, read the message that he wrote on a piece of paper. And, y'all, it broke me. It really broke me, okay? Now, we do see Victor get up there. And I thought that nigga was going to sing a song. But he did not. He actually wanted to start with everybody giving Jada her flowers. Beautiful moment. But, again, this just really showed me that the Shy, baby, it's on its way out. Because the fact of who we had show up for her, I just don't understand why we didn't bring back some other characters. But moving on. So then we do see Emmett have a conversation with his mama after the event. And he just, kind of apologizes for not being able to get through the speech. And she completely understands, okay? But also, she tells him that she wants him and Keisha to survive. And he like, what do you mean by that? And she's like, I want you to leave Chicago. And he's like, but I don't know nothing else. But she's like, you have to promise me this. Y'all, I agree with Jada. Nigga, you almost died. Like, literally, that man, he shot you in close range. Okay? You could have definitely not only passed away, or it had you not, you could have had a lot of, serious complications in your life. Okay? It is time for y'all to get up out of Chicago. Again, I've never watched a show where the whole damn cast need to leave the city. Like, my God. But Emmett and Keisha, they should have been left Chicago. But also what's crazy to me is that they supposedly had a Smokies in New York, y'all. And they never went to visit that motherfucker. That's crazy to me. But we gonna go ahead and move on. We see Candace, and she's talking to Reg. And she's just over there texting Alicia, a.k.a. Terry. Now, he don't even trust this lady. Yeah, who are you texting? What is going on? She's like, I just met this rich lady. Blah, 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 blah. Child, I'm like, how gullible are you, Candace? Like, it was too easy for Alicia to convince her in less than 24 hours. Okay? Now, Reg says that he don't trust nobody but her. And these two, I guess they supposed to be locked in. Child, I guess. Y'all, we going over to Zuri, and she's over there with Ronnie while Damien is sleeping. I said, what the fuck is going on here? Like, not you couldn't watch this little boy, so you had to call your girlfriend over. I cannot take Damien seriously. That man ain't learned a goddamn thing. And what's crazy to me is that he had to watch Ronnie while everybody else went to go celebrate Jada. And I'm like, wait a second. You mean to tell me y'all didn't want Damian there to celebrate Jada's life? Like, make that make sense, because it don't make no damn sense to me. Nonetheless, Emmett and Keisha, they get home, and they like, what are you doing here, right? And according to Zuri, she came over because Ronnie was throwing a fit, and she got him to calm down. She also ended up cleaning up their house. So now they kind of want her to be the nanny, right? Because she's good with Ronnie. I said, it's been one day, but okay, y'all. Again, where EJ at? Like, did Tiff mama just take over guardianship of this baby? Like, if she did, then let us know. Because I'm just confused as to where that little boy is. We already know that they sent the other kids away. You know what I mean? That Emmett got. They sent them kids away. But whatever. Moving on, y'all. We go over to Jada and Darnell, and they talk about the event or whatever. And then Jada tells him that she doesn't want him to be alone when she's gone. Like, he still has a lot of love out there. He needs to embrace it. So we're clearly seeing that they're trying to set it up for him to be with Riley next season. Child, I can't. Okay. I mean, I love Wendy Raquel Robinson. I like her on my TV screen, so sure. So then we see Victor and Tiff, y'all. They at the lounge and her water breaks. I'm like, okay, we're going to see how this goes. Okay, she's still going to be an asshole to him. We get to the last scene, y'all. And it is Reg and Candace. He is planning on robbing this house, right? And she outside being a lookout, but then she ends up texting Terry like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. Girl, you should be at this point. Like, what are you doing? Why are you texting that lady? Y'all, I'm sorry. I knew that Candace was a little slow, but damn, y'all didn't have to make her this slow. Y'all, that was the episode. I'm really trying to understand what The Chi is going to look like, considering it got renewed for another season. Season 8, I don't know what that is going to look like, but we're going to talk about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.